A few weeks ago, Sunsoft announced that they would be releasing updated versions of a few of their games. One of them, known both as Gimmick or Mr. Gimmick, depending on your region, was one of those games. Of course, I was super excited for this, although I had about a year ago purchased a reproduction cart for the NES version. Sadly, it doesn't work on the Retron, and finding an emulator to run the ROM wasn't easy either since many were incompatible, giving me visuals like so. I did find an emulator that works, which is awesome, because I really wanted to review this game before the re-release comes out. Mr. Gimmick is a game with a simple yet somewhat adorable plot. A little girl gets a new plush toy as a gift, and her other toys are a bit jealous. They whisk her away to an alternate world, with the new toy, called Yumataro, going and attempting to save her. This isn't easy. In fact, the game is brutal in its challenge level. It seems easy enough at first, with just some basic black blobs running after you, but it won't take long before you notice the enemy AI. Most enemies will give chase, and if they run past you, will turn around and continue hunting you down until they are defeated. Considering that you only start with 2 units of health, with a maximum of 4 points, it won't take much before you get killed. Also keep in mind that your health is reset to the 2-unit maximum when clearing stages, so that doesn't make things any easier. And those black blobs are the most common threat you'll find, other than perhaps the instant kill pits or spikes that litter the levels. So how do you defeat them? You have access to a star projectile that is conjured over Yumataro's head when holding down the B button. It does take a second to fully materialize, and if you let go of B too early, then it will disappear, rendering the exercise as a waste of time. When you do throw a proper star, you'll notice a few things. For one, you can only have one on the screen at any one time. If it's still flying around, you won't be able to get a new one started, so you'll have to work to evade the enemies for a bit. 2, the star bounces around. At first, when you throw it, you'll see it leap from the ground, and if you throw it from a higher altitude, it will ricochet higher into the air. This can be worked to your advantage if you need to strike an enemy at a higher elevation than you. With this whole star attack, you may notice that this game has some seriously impressive physics for an NES game. These mechanics aren't just limited to your star either. You can jump onto most enemies without taking damage, and they have been seen running towards a pit to take you down with them. If you flip this turtle around and jump on it, the flailing legs will literally push Yumataro backwards slowly like a conveyor belt. Running down slopes will give you a noticeable burst of speed, and if you step on a slant, you'll start to slide down it. These details would have blown my mind if I was a kid and played this game on an actual NES in the 90s. Hell, they blow my mind now. In addition, you can jump onto your star and ride it along, using it as a stepping stone to get to higher platforms. This is actually required to fully complete the game. I'll explain. There are 6 stages in the game, and if you finish them, you get a normal ending. However, each of these stages has an optional hidden item that needs to be collected by navigating some fairly treacherous platforming. You need to collect each of these items, and from what I've heard from other videos, cannot continue to get to the 7th level and therefore the potential to reach the best ending. These items get harder and harder to collect. The first one is easiest, and I found it pretty much instantly by leaping onto my star and jumping up here to reach this hidden area, where if you go to the left through basic platforming, you'll find a flower. Other stages, not so easy. The second involves pushing this cannon to the lower platform and then perfectly timing a jump to a blasted cannonball to reach the next item. Fail, and you'll probably fall into the water. In the third stage, you throw a bomb here to blow up the enemy, then fall down to grab the next treasure. Oh, you didn't have a bomb? Well, I guess you're gonna have to reset now, aren't you? This gives you an idea of what you'll be up against, and you're not safe when you reach the treasure, as you can see here. Sadly, I still can't finish even the standard non-secret part of the game. The 5th level boss is just insane. I have no idea how I'm supposed to defeat it. The spacing between lasers isn't terrible at first, but once you do some damage to it, the lasers increase in frequency, and I have no idea how to get by this without dying. No matter how challenging the game got, it was still incredibly fun. Part of the enjoyment was just trying to figure out how to clear the next obstacle. Should I use pure speed to avoid things, or cautiously edge my way forward to get those bombs to drop? Should I use the shortcut in stage 2 to get to the boss with minimal energy, or go through the entire level to get more health and secondary weaponry, in the forms of single-use bombs or fireballs? To help alleviate the challenge a bit, you do get infinite continues, as I said. But, as I also said, even using one of these will eliminate your chance at reaching the best ending. You also start the game with 7 lives, and getting high enough points will get you more. But make no mistake, those lives will drain quickly if you aren't prepared. Last thing to really talk about are the music and graphics. Needless to say, both are simply fantastic. The music will get in your head right from the start, with some of the best tracks I've ever heard on the system. Lots of mesmerizing songs, with each level being unique. When you enter an area with one of the hidden items, the music changes to an upbeat, mystical-like song, making you know you're coming up to something special. As for the graphics, just wow! You can tell this is a late-released game because this game is colorful, detailed, and just plain beautiful looking. Amazing waterfalls, splashing liquid, portions of areas that are just there to brag about the programmer's abilities. The visuals are just plain impressive on every screen you come across. Everything in Mr. Gimmick that you encounter is just amazing to behold. I only have one question. Why in the world was this not released in the US? It was a Japan exclusive, other than a limited run in the Scandinavian region, and this upsets me, as this game would have been much easier to acquire for fans to play if it was released here, as I'm sure it probably would have been a hit. Sure, the SNES was already out, but who cares? There were plenty of kids that still had an NES that was hooked up. I know I probably would have wanted to buy it with what little money I had. Hopefully the re-release for modern consoles will bring the greatness that is Mr. Gimmick to every gamer's life. It really is worth the time to play it. Final score? 7 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.